Ade, we're starting to focus on relationships, and the theme is forming and sustaining relationships. I'm kind of curious to know what's your take on that theme for yourself.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day actually, how it felt like it was much easier when I was younger to make new friends. And the reason it was sort of coming up for me is because I have, I guess, two new friends at the moment. One I've known for, it's coming up to a year, and one just slightly over a year. And I had a call with one of them a couple of days ago. And at the end of the call, I remember feeling this sense of, oh, wow, it's wonderful to have a new friend as an adult. But when I was much younger, sort of primary school, secondary school, university even, it felt like I was constantly meeting new people. And I think what it was I was throwing myself into the arena. I was much more open in terms of vulnerability. I was not thinking ahead in terms of what is this going to look like. And I think now it feels like I have all these criteria in terms of friendship that very often gets in the way. So if I'm meeting someone, I'm thinking, do we have the same values? Are we going to like each other? Are we going to be able to do things? So rather than going with the flow, which is what I used to do, I think now I notice that it feels like I'm a little bit more calculated, not consciously, but through my behaviors. And so with these two new friends that I have, what I recognized was in terms of the forming of those friendships, it was very organic. I wasn't thinking ahead. It was a conversation that we had, and then it was another conversation and the text messages. Um, but what's been really, really important is the sustaining has been really important, the conscious sustaining. So sending each other messages, making time to actually connect with each other has been something that I've really had to pay attention to. What about for yourself? What comes up for you?
Oh, God, so much of what you said is true for me as well. So I was just nodding away while you were saying that. I think the headline for me is I think I'm kinder and clearer now. You talked about you're more aware of what your agenda is when it comes to the elements of relationship. And I think I was just like you. I used to throw myself in. And what I found in the past was there was usually a common purpose that kept us together. So I didn't need to think about sustaining because one was university. Went to university. We've all left home. We're all trying to work out how to use a washing machine. We're all, partying and learning together. And for 3 years, university kept that friendship together. So I didn't really need to do much work around the sustaining because we were seeing each other all the time. And then as I got older, I think activism was another frame where I made friends with people who were activists and we did projects together. We went on marches together. We did things together, and that was the framing. And latterly, it's been around projects. I mean, if I think about our friendship, it was, I think, a critical part of it is we create together, we do the workshops together, and that sometimes is the glue that holds us together. So I think that, as I get older, there seems to be less of these frames that I can rely upon. And therefore I have to generate it myself. I have to think about, what's important in the friendships and how can I keep it alive? So I find myself these days doing more of an audit, which is why I say I'm kind of clearer. Because sometimes I get nostalgic about a friendship and I think, well, I've known them for 30 years, so I'm always going to know them. And now I'm like, well, is that okay? Maybe if there's an imbalance there, or some of my needs are not being met healthily in that relationship, is it okay to nostalgically hold on, or do I need to let go? And so I found myself letting go of some friendships and working harder at the ones that I value. So having to be more self-conscious because there's less framework around it to hold me in the friendship. So yeah, it's a really interesting subject, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, this conversation that we're having could go on and on. Actually, there's so much I want to say, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the session and to hearing what everyone is going to bring to the space.